Part two is, well, I realized in my life, after certain traumas, the biggest being a car crash 14 years ago, is that no matter how much insight, no matter how much information, no matter how many books I read, no matter how much I analyzed, there was still this trapped feeling, this caged feeling, like intimacy and tenderness like triggered in me a fight or flight response where I'd either shut down and alienate myself or like arrogantly try and dominate another or my environment or my situation. That looked like looking to stimulants, looking to alcohol to control my mood, to assert myself and not be vulnerable and not be tender and not let me feel certain feelings that are trying to rise up to the surface. So my felt sense was completely constrained, restrained, diminished, and like, how could you say, like illegal. Like certain feelings were illegal to feel. Now, by denying and ignoring certain pain that was trying to seep up to the surface with a sacred message, with a sacred possibility of passage into restoring myself to a complete whole where I can have the reptilian, the limbic, and the neocortex all integrate into one another and find a harmonious balance and a feeling of arrived fullness and wholesomeness. I realized that I've done so much analytical, intellectual searching and processing, and at a certain point, I had to integrate these traumas of mine, specifically beginning with the car crash and parents' divorces and death of loved ones and infidelities and like physical injuries that still show up, and like abuse, physical abuse, and sexual trauma and things like this, that I had to allow myself with compassionate attention and feeling to feel the feelings that were rising up to the surface that I spent hours and hours and days and weeks and months and years trying to not feel. So we talk about inner demons or the dragon below in our unconscious that we're like tiptoeing around trying to like completely divorce from and avoid and dominate and control with our neocortex, and say, you know what? At some point I realized I am the inner demon. I am the inner dragon. And by resisting, I'm giving all my life energy to this commitment of, no, I am not that. I am not that. I am other than that. Like, run. Move ahead, move to the future. Just don't look back. Just focus on what you can. Just like nose to the grindstone, like pull up your bootstraps, work hard, dignity in that. Just keep going at all costs. Do not let the inner dragon fucking eat you, consume you. One day, it's like, I am the inner dragon. I'm running from myself. I'm divided within. I'm divorced to this inner dragon that I'm resisting. And by resisting, I'm giving it all my life energy. And eventually I become defined by that which I resist. So at a certain point in my cycle, I said, you know what? I'm going to choose to love this inner dragon. It needs the most compassion and the most resource and the most healing and the most water. It's just begging for attention. So let's give it to it. And thus ensues a heavy phase of integration and healing. By giving the inner dragon this attention, by learning how to tame it, by listening to it, by becoming it, you blend with that which you oppose. And integration happens. You marry your light self and your dark self, your shadow and that which you strive for. And there's this like Integration, integration, integration. That's the freaking... So, in this way, you allow the reptilian brain and the felt sense to come back into your life, and the neocortex, the brain, the intellect, finds itself placed in a harmonious balance with just like being in the present, being able to feel again, being able to be tender and malleable and delicate and powerfully vulnerable. So this is part of my personal narrative, and I share it with you because healing is always an option. Redemption is an option. It's a beautiful thing when you can identify with something more holistic, with an aspect of your humanity that encompasses every aspect of every one of your roles and every one of those events in your life, the highs, the lows, where you come to this place where you're like, I'm not just my story. I am not just my point of view. I am not limited to my personal human narrative. And you get back to the place where you came from. This divisionless, separationless, mysterious core from which we were birthed. And you can go back to health as not just the absence of disease and the absence of trauma, but health like a vivid, like revitalized, like joyful, connected, and healthy, and like systems harmonious kind of existence. And thank you, Creator, thank you, existence, thank you, life, thank you, everyone that contributes any kind of light to this world, because of our community and this possibility and just the nature of this realm, healing and integration and returning to like a full existence is an option. And so, mad gratitude. Anywho, I leave you on that note. I always start these things saying, oh, I'm gonna do it like a 5-minute, and turns into like at least a 10-minute. So anyway, bless you. And when I say peace, I really mean it. Peace.